Same room. You both can go in if you want. I mean, you all can go in if you want, but it's a small room.
Do you have another chair?
Do you guys want to hang out here while I get this done, and then you can jump in after me? Okay.
Yeah, I'll get you some chairs up here. You got it.
Yeah. I can hang on to you if you want. Yep. Yeah, it sounds wet.
Welcome to the NCAA Women's Volleyball Postgame Press Conference featuring Washington. We'll hear from Coach Keegan Cook first and then followed by a student athlete. If possible, please check your settings and identify yourself by name and affiliation. Thank you for participating today. We will now begin with an opening statement from Coach Cook and then go to questions. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Coach Cook, please give us a brief opening statement and then we will go to questions.
I'll keep it brief since we were out there a while. Congratulations to the Pittsburgh Panthers, and then the season that they had, the spring that they had was unbelievable. The tournament they had, the level that they played at. I think those first two sets especially spoke to who they were in the end of the fourth, and knew it was going to be an incredible challenge for us. Disappointed with the way we started, but really have always believed in this group to take things the distance, and was just impressed with our ability to side out against a very good serving team, against a very good transition hitting team, and just really happy for our athletes. It's been a long journey. We've had a few chances to get this program back to the Final Four, and this was the group to do it, and so I'm just thrilled for them and looking forward to spending some more time with them in Omaha.
Thank you. Now we will go to questions from the media. Use the raise hand function to indicate you want to ask a question. When called upon, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Cindy Nash. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, this is Cindy from Daily. What were you telling the team going into the fifth set today?
A couple little tactical reminders, but mostly just that they had figured it out. They had started playing kind of clean volleyball, which is something that we've wanted to be known for all year. Wanted them to drive the ball high and hard, at the top of the block, and to hit their serves with confidence, and just told them they had everything they needed to come away with the win. And yeah, they didn't disappoint, especially with the start of that set.
And all season, you've been kind of pointing towards the postseason as something where you really want serving to improve on, a goal that you had for kind of the tournament. How did you feel about that today?
It was our best, right when our best was needed. These last two matches, serving at a level that we have not served at most of the entire season, and the timing couldn't have been better. And it was the one thing we had from start to finish in this match, and certainly it was the thing that allowed us to come away with a win.
And lastly, how did you feel going for your third fifth set game during the tournament? Do you think the team's been kind of exhausted or staying strong?
You're not thinking about any of that. It was a brutal turnaround for us. Not a lot of sleep for coaches or players, but once you're in that moment, you're pretty locked in. And again, you can't fake confidence in fifth sets. We've been in a lot of them, and we've won more than we've lost. And so, yeah, total confidence in us in that last set.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good day.
Our next question is from Scott Hansen. Please unmute yourself and you're good to talk.
Hey, Coach, I'm sorry for your opening statement. I know you told me before the tournament you felt the responsibility to get this program back to the Final Four. What does it mean to be there?
Still a little surreal right now, just it's the greatest privilege and responsibility to coach a program of this caliber, and you have to know what's at stake. You make commitments to some very talented people with big dreams, and it's your responsibility to get them there. And yeah, just really happy for these kids and for all former teams.
You said yesterday you couldn't remember a bigger comeback. Where does today's rank?
The whole tournament feels like a comeback right now, but that was just a great display of who this team has been all year. And when the stakes have been highest, they've been their best. And those are the things that make teams special.
Have you ever heard of a team that has had such a remarkable, so many close games, remarkable runs? I mean, your blood pressure must be pretty high at this point.
A little worn out, Scott, just emotionally and in that moment. The best thing you can do is have clear mind and communicate well with your athletes. So I don't know, when you get out there, you just get into a different zone, and I think the feelings and emotions come later on.
Does this team surprise you, even with what they've done?
Yeah, Scott, the growth, to continue growing from August to late April, to ask your players to be uncomfortable week after week, day after day, while you're trying to win a Pac-12 title, to make practices hard and brutal over and over again, and to be direct with them, and yeah, their resilience is incredible, and I think just the work they put in took care of them here in this tournament.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thanks, Scott.
Our next question is from Chris Adamski. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, Coach. Congrats on the win. Can you take me through your thought and what you saw on the challenge there late in the fourth set? And obviously that was a pivotal moment. Did you see that? Is it almost a case where you're almost like, user or loser type challenge, or did you know it would work out for you?
Yeah, you talking about the net call or the swing that was kind of sharp on the sideline?
The net call.
Just was pretty confident in I think my biggest concern is that I was out of challenges. I felt like I was challenging in critical moments in the fourth and in the fifth. Sam had a swing that I thought was just outstanding and was pretty confident, landed in, and I was just glad I hadn't used the challenges earlier in the match and had an opportunity to help him out.
Did anything change from the first two sets to the obviously the score change? Was there a turning point or something that you guys did differently or they did differently or something that made the difference?
Yeah, there was a slight matchup change. We spent a lot of the night trying to figure out what was best, and we put it out there and it didn't go, and then it didn't go again in the second, and so we made a change. Didn't know if it was going to be the right one, but we had to do something, and that combined with the athletes kind of dialing up our offense and starting to find the tops of blocks and manage some tough serves. Those two things kind of came together, I think. But of course, players are the magic, and just saw them start playing the high-level volleyball that I've seen throughout the year. And so, yeah, all credit to them.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Ed Strong. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
This is Ed Strong, UW Dogpound. Teams had a lot of opportunities to try and get over the hump in terms of in your years with the Huskies. They made the semifinal when you're national semifinals when you were an assistant. But you've had a lot of years where you're in the Elite Eight, you're in the Sweet 16, you're in regionals. You kind of touched on it earlier, but just what does it mean to get over what was clearly a really significant goal for you guys, far not the ultimate one, but.
We really believe that if you do good things day after day and you have good season after good season, that the great moments will happen, and that it's not a matter of trying to, coach it out of them as much as it is be really good for really long periods of time, day after day, week after week, year after year, and your time will come. And it's not about getting there as much as it is about, how you get there and who you get it there with. And sometimes it's easy to lose faith, in that philosophy. But today is a special day. Just validates it a lot.
And in a match where offensively, really nothing seemed to go right early on, what were you able to do, especially Maddie Ensley, to get from in her first set where it really just seemed like Pittsburgh had everybody's number? What were you able to do to get the pins open, particularly with Ensley and Drexel?
Yeah, it's all connected. It's hard to point to one thing. The serve receive was extremely rough in the first set. The out-of-system setting was rough. We were playing really far off the net. I think Pitt is one of the best digging teams in the country, and then they also have some physicality at the net. So I thought a lot of little things just got better, and we started setting some more balls in tempo, and hitters started kind of hitting some high hands, which is what you need when you get into these Elite Eights and these big-time volleyball matches. You're not going to find the floor much against these great teams. And so, yeah, really impressive by Maddie to turn that around, and really impressive by Claire and Sam having to take some tough swings against well-formed blocks.
Thanks, Coach.
Our final question is from Lee Finswag. If you want to unmute yourself and ask your question, you can go ahead.
Boy, the final question. Keegan, you've been doing this a long time. Have you ever gone through 3 matches in a row like that? And of course, under the circumstances, that alone has to make it unique.
I haven't been doing it that long, Lee. It feels like it's been a long time. My hair certainly looks like I've been doing it a long time. 3 5-set matches in a row, being down 0-2, being down big in the 5th last match. You couldn't write it any better. And man, just I don't know, Lee. You caught me at the end of this thing. I'm out of words here, but just what these athletes do is really incredible, and it's really hard to grow in the midst of a pandemic and to be committed to growth when a lot of people are just trying to get by. And I just love every one of these matches for them. Just love every one of these moments. I'm glad they have these memories forever.
Well, I want credit because I already posted a quick hitter, and the headline simply says, "Heart Attack Huskies."
You're the best, Lee. Thanks. Can we get some players in here? Can I run?
Yep. Thank you, Coach.
Thank
for
you.
Your time today. We'll be joined momentarily by student athlete Samantha Drexel and then Lma Powell after. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary.
Hi.
We are now joined by Samantha Drexel. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Ed Strong. Please unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Ed Strong from the UW Dog Pound. You saw one of your first matches with the Huskies after coming from Maryland, and a lot of your team and a number of your teammates really first matches. You guys played Pitt early, and obviously a lot of the players have changed, but in particular, you saw Kayla Lund, you saw Chanaza Enday, and they really, I mean, that match probably seemed like somewhat of a wake-up call at the time. Was that mentioned at all in the lead-up to this game, or was that something you thought about? Yeah, I mean, a lot of the players have changed, but some of the players are still the same.
Mm-hmm. We definitely mentioned that. I think we know that they're a really great team, and they were then. But I think we knew that they were just going to fight. Like, that's kind of their MO, is they play really, really hard. They're a really good defensive team. And so since we had seen that before and gotten crushed by that before, we knew a little bit what to expect.
That's all for now.
Our next question is from Scott Hansen. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, Samantha, what comeback was greater, this one or the one on Sunday?
Oh, I don't know. Both felt great. I think yesterday, Maria, that serving run was like unbelievable. And I think a couple of us may have thought, like, when the score was, 1-6 or something, that maybe we wouldn't be showing up tomorrow. But yeah, both are great.
Do you think going through yesterday's comeback kept you guys more confident you could do it again today?
For sure. I think we know that a little bit what's possible with this team. We know that we're going to fight till the end. And going into the third set today, I think we were like, hey, we can come back. We can do it. If there's a time to do it, it's now.
Thank you.
Our final question will be from Sydney. You can unmute yourself and ask your question now.
Sam, this is Sydney from the Daily. What were you thinking going into the third set down by 2? What was like the team's mentality as well as yours?
I think we were just thinking that, like, we're close. We're playing with them, but we need to minimize, like, the errors and the service runs. And we kind of had, like, a little heart-to-heart, and we were like, let's do this. We've worked so hard to get here, and let's play all out. Let's get it done.
And how hard was the turnaround coming back from the 5 set and then 9 a.m. this morning? I'm sure you guys got a really early start. What was that like today?
Yeah, definitely difficult. Coming off of a win like last night, it was definitely emotional. And then we were up at the crack of dawn this morning trying to get film in, and then we had like COVID testing, so pretty quick turnaround, like early start, but I think we handled it as best we could.
And lastly, what was just the general feeling of the team right after it was over and done? Was everyone relieved? It looked like there were lots of tears and hugging. How was everybody just reacting initially?
Yeah, definitely a lot of tears. It's kind of crazy when you've been in a global pandemic and coming back to campus, trying to practice, play, still get better when there's so many things going on in the world right now. And just, like, I have so much respect for my teammates and all the hard work and the focus that we've put in the past couple months. And just to see it pay off is crazy. And I'm not sure if it's really hit me, like, the gravity of it yet, of all the hard things we've done this season. But yeah, I'm excited for what's next.
Thank you, Samantha, for your time.
Thank you.
We'll be joined momentarily with Lma Powell next, so please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary.
Hi. You better not make me cry.
You can use the raise hand function to indicate if you would like to ask a question, and we're ready to start now. So we'll start with Ed Strong. If you want to unmute yourself and ask your question now, you can do so.
Hey, Lma, you've had your team, one of the first, early in your freshman year, you guys went to Pitt and had what probably would have had to be an eye-opener of a loss. Obviously, a lot of the team, a decent amount of the team has changed, but they've still got Kayla Lund, they still got Chanaza Enday. Were you guys mentioning that in the locker room coming in? Was that something, I mean, obviously motivation enough, Final Four should be motivation enough, but was that something that you drew from?
Absolutely. We definitely were thinking about that game whenever we were scouting or when we found out that we were going to play them. But we've grown a lot as a team since then, and it was very apparent today. But there's some amazing athletes on that team. 23 and 5 are incredible athletes, along with the rest of the team, of course. But and we knew that we had to stop them, and we knew we had to be better at being disciplined on what we knew they were going to do. And I think the difference between freshman year and now is we were really good on our assignments, and we knew exactly what they were going to do. And even though we didn't have a lot of time to scout them, we were really disciplined on our assignments.
Did you have a chance to have any of your family are finally kind of close to home? Did you have a chance to, any of your family have a chance to come in today?
Yes, actually, I was able to have my parents, my brother, like my aunts, uncles. So I had a small crew with me. It's only 6 hours, so it feels good to be close to home because our situation right now with everything going on is they didn't really get to see me out in Seattle a lot. So I'm just grateful to see them there in the stands.
Thank you.
Scott Hansen, you're next. If you want to unmute yourself and ask your question.
I don't have the unmute button. I don't.
Oh, I think you're unmuted. You're good.
We can hear you, Scott. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have you ever had games like two matches like that were such great comebacks back to back like that ever?
No, definitely not. But I think it goes to show how gritty this team is, and we haven't even had a game like that together or two games like that together as a group yet, and it's just really fun to see people show up in those moments. And I don't want to say that we were tired from that game yesterday, but it'd be hard not to. Definitely emotionally and physically tired. But I'm just so proud of how we fought back in this game today.
I mean, how do you turn it around down 2 sets to be easy just to say, okay, we had a great season, but.
Yeah, I think it's funny, I don't think I ever had a doubt, and it's kind of maybe weird to say that, but in the first 2 sets there, we weren't playing our style of volleyball. We were kind of just responding is what it felt like, and once we realized that if we're going to go out playing our style of volleyball and not what we're doing right now. And I think that's what turned it around, is we have to be who we are all the time, and we have to be so disciplined and play the Washington way and all the time, and that's what's going to carry us through.
Thank you very much.
Our next question is from Sydney Nash. If you want to unmute yourself, you can ask your question now.
Hi, Lma. This is Cindy from the Daily. I saw you say to the team a few times today, one at a time. How do you think that mindset impacts these long kind of comeback games? And what were you hoping to motivate the team for then?
Yeah, I think that was a lesson that we learned yesterday. And down 8-2, and we're not going to score all the points back at once. And taking each point at a time, and we say good after good, because you can't just be great and then not so great. So we focus on just being good after good, and because that's all we can control, and being very disciplined in what we're supposed to do. And I think that mindset is kind of what carried us through. A lot of us were saying we may have put up a good front of that we're confident, but we were all freaking out inside, and so we were faking it till we made it. And so just having that good after good approach, or one point at a time, is really what I think helped us win that game.
And like you said, considering that you're stressed and kind of freaking out on the inside, do you think it's difficult to kind of shake off those challenge plays that either maybe you don't agree with or they're stopping the flow of the game, and how do you get back on track from that?
Yeah, I think the way we kind of shake those off is it's out of our control at that point. And the only thing that we can focus on is being really good at what we can control. And just they're going to do what they're going to do, and we have to respond to that the way. Nothing special, just what we've learned to do, what we've been doing all year, and that it's going to carry us through.
And lastly, how does it feel going to the Final Four?
Yeah, I heard Sammy say I can't feel the weight of it yet, but it's something else. And just to be able to carry on the tradition at Washington with such a successful historical program it means the world to me and my team. And yeah, I can't even put it into words.
Awesome. Thanks so much for taking the time, Lma.
Thanks.
Our final question will be from Lee Fenswag. If you want to unmute yourself and ask your question, you can do so now.
Can I say it again? Lma Powell, what was? Give me was there any kind of technical adjustments that you made later in the match, like maybe at the midway point where you bring in maybe hitters in a little bit, changing the timing, doing anything like that to make things click better?
Yeah, Keegan mentioned we flipped our rotation a little bit on him, changed the matchups, and I think that helped a little bit. From my end, I really just tried to keep my hitters in good situations. I wasn't locating as well as I needed to the first two sets, and I think I just settled down a little bit and started locating a little bit better. And with the hitters, they were taking amazing shots, and we knew that was a physical block, and they were handling it so well later on in the game. And I think we got a little away from what we do, and like I said, just bringing it back to good after good, to being disciplined, to doing what we do, what we've done all season is kind of what carried us through that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lma.
Thank you.
Thank you all for participating today. You can find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome to the NCAA Women's Volleyball post-match press conference featuring Pittsburgh. We'll hear from head coach Dan Fisher first, followed by Chanaza Enday. We'll get started here shortly. If possible, please check your settings and identify yourself by name and affiliation in the Zoom. Thank you all for participating in this afternoon's post-match Zoom. We will now begin with an opening statement from Coach Fisher and then go to questions. Please use the raise hand function to indicate if you would like to ask a question. When you're called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Coach Fisher, please give us a brief opening statement and then we will go to questions.
Congratulations to Washington. I know what a big deal this is for their program, and they've proven to be a very resilient team this year. They've had a lot of five-setters, and I know how much Keegan wanted this, so nice work by them. I'd also like to congratulate our team on a great season. Our players went through a lot this year, and you always want to win one more, but I'm really proud of the group. I'd like to thank, my assistant coaches, our support staff, Heather Like and Chancellor Gallagher. It's nice to be at a school where volleyball is valued, and we certainly appreciate all those that helped us along the way. In terms of the match, we've been kind of playing with an underdog mentality all this, really this whole year, and we had that through the first two sets and just lost it a little bit in the third, and we were close in the fourth and could have gone either way, and would have been nice to get that one, but it wasn't meant to be, and so we'll be better for it. But I'm really proud of our team with how our season started.
Thank you, Coach. Now we'll go to questions from the media. Use the raise hand function to indicate you want to ask a question. When called upon, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Craig Meyer. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Go ahead, Craig.
Hi, Dan. I'm just curious for y'all over the course of that match, going up 2-0. I mean, from your vantage point, what changed in those final three sets, or what changed in that moment to sort of to kind of reverse the match's trend there, the way it had been going?
Well, I thought they came out a little flat and we jumped on them. And then just offensively, just from a numbers standpoint, we never, I think we hardly hit above 200 after, maybe we did in the fourth set, but our offense wasn't quite good enough. But with the exception of that run in the fourth, I just felt like we got up two and we were kind of just waiting for them to lose it. We kind of went away a little bit from, kind of what got us here, just playing really aggressive volleyball. But I'll look at some film at some point and figure it out then.
What do you tell your team after, this is the end of a long run, it's the end of a season, as you had mentioned, a trying season, a whole bunch of different ways. What did you tell them after a match like that?
Oh, I just congratulated them on a fantastic year, and that was easy. I mean, it was a hell of a year. We fought hard. We've lost one game in 2021. They have a lot to be proud of, and I'd do it all over again.
Next question will go to Alan Saunders. Alan, go ahead.
Hey, Dan, Alan Saunders, Pittsburgh Sports Now. You talked a little bit about it in your opening about, this still being proud of this team. Tough way to lose, obviously, but I mean, especially considering the way you started this season, how proud of this group are you for getting as far as they did? And what do you feel like was some of the difference in your team since the calendar flipped that made you so much better in 2021?
Well, extremely proud. When we came back in July, we didn't even know if we were going to have a season. It's been a long year of trying to figure out, what our schedule is going to be, and once we kind of sorted that out, I think that helped in the springtime to know that when the championship was, what the schedule was. So I think that helped. I also think, we weren't shut down a whole lot. And so we were able to train all the way through and able to keep working on our game. And I think a lot of players just got better. And so, that showed a lot in the springtime. And shoot, we were inches away from being in the Final Four. So it's the credit goes to them, and the difference is always in them and how hard they work.
What do you hope that your players that are returning can take away from this experience and really getting so close to being one of the, are one of the top teams in the country, obviously, but getting even so close to the Final Four there?
Well, I hope this failure is a motivator, and it makes our players that are returning want to be even better. I mean, that's the main hope, that it's a motivator.
Thanks, Dan.
Next, we'll go to Alexander Lembeck. Alexander, go ahead and unmute yourself when you're ready.
Hey, Dan, this is Alex from the Pitt News. Yesterday, you talked about how you were able to get Chiamaka going really well with those back one plays and stuff. Did you feel like Minnesota had a tougher time guarding, I guess, some of your big attackers like Chiamaka, and how do you think they handled her as well as some of your other key stars on offense?
Well, we didn't connect quite as well. She still had some pretty good numbers, but most of that's because we didn't pass the ball well enough to run our middle as much as we would have liked. And so, Kayla didn't have the night she wanted, and I would say, other than her, we had a lot of good performances. I don't think anyone really had, we had some gritty performances, but I don't think anyone really had the game of their lives. So, we had a lot of good, and but it just wasn't quite enough. And it would have been nice to get one of those go our way in the fourth, though.
Our next question is from Jeff. Jeff, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, Dan. Jeff Hathorn from KDK Radio. Overall, you've had a lot of firsts with the program. What does this mean for the program to have it on this type of stage? What's the impact for you guys?
I don't totally know, but I hope there's a perception change that, I think, people have known we're a good team for the last few years, but, hopefully there's more perception that, hey, we're a contender and we're someone that can make a deep run and can fight for a championship. And so hopefully that affects everything positively, our recruiting, our fan base, that's the hope.
Thanks, Dan.
Our next question is from Jim Hammett. Jim, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Dan, Jim Hammett, PantherLayer.com. I guess my question was kind of asked, but I know it kind of stings in the moment, but kind of looking back on this season, I mean, what does this do for your program? I know this was kind of just asked, but overall, I mean, with the building being built in a couple years, new arena, it just seems like this program's on the rise, and this is just another step in that.
Yeah, I mean, talked about a lot of that before, but the single biggest thing we hope is recruiting, obviously, and yeah, the Victory Heights is back on. That's a good thing, and so I think I hope the perception is that we're a great program and one that can attract the best players.
Thank you.
Our final question will be from Kelly Burkett. Kelly, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Kelly Burkett, WPXI. Coach, you have some pretty important seniors on this team who have helped build this program. What do you want to say to them, or what have you said to them, and what have they meant to you?
Well, we have great leadership on this team. They let me push them. They have my back. I have their back. I just feel like with this group of seniors, it's the coach-player relationship is kind of how it should be. And we're definitely, it's fun to come into work every day because I know that we're all just working towards the same goal, and they know I love them, and that's about it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach Fisher, for your time today. We will be joined momentarily by Chanaza Enday. Please use this time to raise and lower your hand as necessary.
Thank you.
I don't have to do an opening statement, do I?
All right, we are now joined by Chanaza Enday. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Alan Saunders. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Alan, go ahead.
Alan Saunders, Pittsburgh Sports Now. What do you feel like was the difference after the first two sets today? It seemed like they were able to get some momentum in the third, and then things got obviously very close in the fourth. Can you just kind of talk us through what you were feeling was the difference as the match went on?
Yeah, Fish said this before, but I think we just kind of went away from the idea of going for it. I think, we've been playing to win this whole tournament. And I think in that moment, being up 2-0, I think we just started playing not to lose. And we started being more tentative, and talking less, communicating less, things that are, kind of the heart and soul of this team. I think we just let those slip. And Washington's a good team, if you give them that if you give them a little break, they're going to take advantage of it. So that was the difference.
How deflating was, you lose the replay call, and then they get the set point right after that, right there at the end of the fourth?
I mean, it is deflating, but, we were prepared for any call to go their way, to be honest. We were talking to each other, making sure that we were in the moment regardless of whether, we got the call or not. It's hard to lose on a call like that, but I don't think that, that was necessarily maybe as deflating as it might have looked, I guess. We we were trying to be ready for anything, is what I'm trying to say.
Our next question is from Chris Adamski. Go ahead, Chris.
Hi, Chris Adamski, the Tribune Review in Pittsburgh. Alan just sort of asked the question about it. I don't know, how much there were two reviews there at the end that could have guys match points. I mean, that close to it. I don't know if you were able, you're probably in the moment. Did you see the calls? It seemed like it went back a while to find the infraction on the second one. Did you agree with the calls in the end? Did you see them or anything? Or in terms of that pretty much could have decided the match, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think the calls were ultimately correct. I don't think that they got it wrong. Obviously, you don't want to lose on a call. You want to lose playing volleyball, right? So, it was just a tough draw. We fought till the end, and, we tried our hardest, but I don't really have anything to say about the calls.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Our next question will be from Craig Meyer. Craig, go ahead and unmute yourself.
I don't even know where I should be looking.
Hi, it's Craig Meyer from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. We had seen the match kind of change over, going from the second set to the third, and then the third into the fourth there. It seemed like there was some momentum there for Washington. I was curious, when you all are together as players, when you're out there on the court, how much, if at all, can you feel that?
How much can we feel? I mean, I guess we can feel it. We're used to volleyball is a game of momentum shifts in general. So I think that you can always kind of feel where the momentum is shifting during the game. Obviously, you try your best to stop it, but that's just kind of the way the game works. It's just the game it runs. So.
And I'm sure it can probably be difficult to think about in this, in this kind of a moment here. But as a player, as someone who's been with this program for the past several years, what can you take away from this past week and this tournament run, and even the past few months when y'all went on that unbeaten streak?
We're legit. We're a good team, and that's all it is to me. God, I'm getting emotional. I believe in us, and it's not even about, sticking it to the doubters or anything like that. It's just about showing the people we've always been. And I think that's what we did in this tournament. I'm just really, really proud because, it can be easy to kind of, buy into the idea of us not being as good as, we think we are, or we say we are, and kind of showing up in this tournament really, I think, planted a seed in our team and just hey, we can compete with anybody. It doesn't matter about names or conferences or who wins this or who coaches where. It's we're a good team. We're legit. We're one of the top teams in the nation, and so that's kind of been my main takeaway from this whole thing. God, I want to cry. But here I am.
Thank you, Chief.
No problem.
Our next question will be from Alex Lenbeck. Alex, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, G, it's Alex from the Pitt News. Just like you were saying about kind of when you get a chance to digest this, to look back on the whole run as a whole tournament, what do you think will kind of be the defining moment for you guys from this run?
Ooh, defining moment. Defining moment. I think I mean, this isn't really a moment, but I think us, sorry, I'm being so like all over the place. I think us sweeping Utah was a moment we were like, wait a minute. We might have something here. I think that was the moment because, you know, you build up these games in your head and you're like, oh, this is going to be such a battle and we really have to just like dig this out, you know, and winning it, not an easy game, but winning it in a sweep was pretty unbelievable. So I think that's something, I mean, obviously the Minnesota win is huge as well, but I think that moment was really inspiring for us. I think that we were just like, oh, like we can actually do this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Our next question will be from Kelly Burkett. Kelly, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Nazi, you mentioned what showing up in this tournament, this is Kelly Burkett from WPXI, I'm sorry. You mentioned showing up in this tournament, like what it showed that Pitt was legit, but what is the impact that you feel that your team right now has made on the volleyball program in the University of Pittsburgh? What have you changed in perception about volleyball at Pitt in your years here?
I don't think we've. Let me retract. I think, you know, we've been one of the most, if not the most, successful program on campus for a while. So it's hard to say that we've really changed that much. Obviously, you know, we've made a deep run in the tournament, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's just kind of making us bigger on a national stage, maybe. But as far as within Pitt, I mean, if you pay attention to Pitt sports that aren't, you know, kind of the footballs and basketballs of the world, you know that, you know, we've been successful, at least since I've been here. So, yeah, I think we've been legit. I think this kind of boosts us another level up, which is always nice, you know, just for recruiting and things like that. But I don't know, we've been successful for a while.
Well, maybe, I mean, your personally, the impact you've made on the university. Do you feel like are you leaving an imprint? Yes, you.
Okay. Am I leaving an imprint? Oh gosh. I mean, I'd like to think so. You know, I think that's kind of what sports can do for people, is it can kind of bring people together, and you know, women's sports in general, I think is always inspiring. So that's big for me. Being a Black woman is always also a big thing for me. So, you know, I try my best to make sure that I'm representing myself in a way that I can look back and be proud of. And so I'm really grateful. You know, Pitt has been, I literally couldn't have made a better choice. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Our next question will be from Jeff. Jeff, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Chi, Jeff Hathorn from KDK Radio. A similar question, but I'm just wondering, as a student athlete, what this season has been like, to go back to the summer, to not knowing, to have a slow start to the season, to have a break and then resume, and knowing you have to be perfect with this, you know, a shorter NCAA field, and to be that, and then to have this type of success. Can you give us an idea what this was like?
Oof. I mean, even describing it, it's like a roller coaster. I think it was a lot of ups and downs, but I mean, I know we're all better for it. I think we kind of stuck to the values we kind of started the season with, was just being grateful for every single moment, being grateful, you know, like Fish said before, we weren't shut down a lot. We didn't have any COVID cases on our team. And like, that's in itself is a blessing, right? So, you know, getting to train with people that I love and care about every single day is always a blessing, you know, and the emotions are the emotions, but at the end of the day, like, I still love everyone on the team, you know? Our relationships are as strong as ever, and that's the thing I'm going to kind of value the most over any win or loss.
Thanks, Chi.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Chanaza, for your time. Thank you all for participating this afternoon. You can find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you. Ugh, the tears, Lord Jesus, the tears.